Hello from Beer Australia Reviews, and this is just a quick intro to the latest live chat with Darren from Brew Taste Style. Big thanks to Darren for putting together these videos, so over to Darren.
Back for another video, another beer review. Today, again, I'm joined by Simon from Beer Australia Reviews. Welcome back.
Thanks, Darren. Yep.
I'm going to put my headphones on so I can actually hear you. So today we're going to be talking about two different beers. One from Beerfarm, a Pale Ale, and one back to my old favourites, a New England IPA from Garage Project. So again, we're going to be talking a little bit about the style, trying to make them a little more snappier than what they've been in the past. But we were talking just before we've done this video, and we think quite a cool little dynamic would be, from what I understand from Simon, he's more of a traditionalist, I guess, when it comes to beer, dare I say some more core range, and just liking, I don't want to say simple as in it's a bad word, but the beer is beer, right? Whereas I guess from people that are familiar with this channel, I'm kind of I appreciate that. I'm still learning about that, but I like these big dumb stouts, big New England IPAs, all of this sort of stuff. So I think it could be quite a cool dynamic going forward, Simon, to for us to kind of try to convince each other of what type of beer is the best here. So.
Just last night I was in the pub and they had these 3 pints of different flavoured beers, and I had a taste of each of them. It sort of touched my lips, then I put the glass down. No, and just give me a pint of ordinary stuff.
So I've got a bit of work to do, and I reckon you've got a bit of work to do to get me off these limited releases.
Yeah, at least with the traditional beers, I know it's good.
I know it's good too. So we're both on the same page here. So let's get across to the first beer is a core range beer. It's a beer from Beerfarm. I'm familiar with this brew, but I know you are a lot more than me. So kick us off. Tell us a bit about the brewery and a bit about the beer.
Back on this one. Okay, so we got the so this is from Beerfarm. Beerfarm is another one of the Margaret River breweries. It's just a few miles north of Margaret River itself. This is in the southwest of Western Australia, and it's the wine region for Western Australia, and also these days it's the beer region as well, because in recent years there's been 12 microbreweries have opened up. Now the Beerfarm though is one of my favourite breweries, and one of the best things about the Beerfarm is they're really environmentally aware. They're really into the sustainability and things. The brewery itself is on actually a farm, and where they brew the beers and the brew pub as well, because they have you can go along and you can have a meal during the daytime. You can have one of the tasting paddles. I quite like the hazy the cloudy German wheat beer, Weissen beer, that they have, but it's just a nice place to go. It's just you walk in there and you feel at home straight away, and the beers are really good. I mean, all of the beers from the Margaret River region I'm finding are really good, but the Beerfarm is just one of my favourites.
Yeah, again, I've been in Western Australia for a couple of years now, and every time I go down there, I've not been able to kind of get into Beerfarm, and I've heard really good things again from that sort of sustainability standpoint. So let's get across to the beer style we're talking about today. Pale Ale. So what we should be expecting from this? I mean, this is obviously quite a common style, right? A lot of this is probably one of the more kind of common styles. Let me just go over quickly what we should be expecting from the pale, from the actual the malt character and the IBU, right? Because I think that's quite generic. But so 6 to 14 SRM colour, so kind of lighter sort of colour beer, 30 to 50 IBU, so somewhere kind of in the middle of that bitterness, and then that kind of more sessionable type of beer. So what else to add there, mate?
Okay, well, this one is they called it a New World Pale. Yeah. So, and it's got Eldorado US hops, and it's saying it's got low bitterness, moderate hop aroma. So it should be a light style of beer. So are we going to crack it open? Because I'm starting to desiccate again.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Eldorado hop is a hop that I'm quite familiar with and quite fond of. So I'm quite keen to see this kind of toned down a little bit from these kind of other New England IPAs that I've been drinking. So let's get in the glass.
Yeah. I'm getting aromas on this one already.
Nice.
Very pale in colour. Yeah, it's a clear one.
Yeah, I haven't got you full screen there. I probably should have you full screen, but next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not used to to pouring this colour beer and actually being able to see through it. So, all right.
So there we go, looking good.
Excellent. So I mean, I can already smell that. So let's
give it a try. It's got that. It's got tropical aromas already. These sort of pales from this type of world, from this part of the world, are always really good. I just like all of them that I've tried so far. There's not really a bad one in the bunch. They're all worthwhile. But let's give it a go. But a couple of the Beerfarm beers as well. There's a Beerfarm lager which is really good. So I rate Beerfarm really well. So yeah, let's give it a taste.
Well, so I mean, with the from the aroma perspective, yeah, the El Dorado, pineapple, pear, watermelon, stone fruit is that type of thing. I'm expecting kind of crispiness on the taste. So I'll go right after you.
Yep. Oh, that's well, I had to have a drink because, like I say, I'm desiccating. This is a really refreshing beer. It's like it's really it doesn't have lots of bitterness, doesn't have lots of malt in there. It's just really refreshing and drinkable. This is definitely a warm day beer. If you've
It's a hot beer. I've not really ventured to these to the core range much generally, right? But when you think of this sort of like a nice hot day, something nice and crisp, right? I still get a little bit of that malt character in there as well. It's there, and same as the hops. Like it's there. It's almost just dialed down from these 7-8% kind of beers that I'm used to drinking. But hot summer's day, this would go down an absolute treat.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, I'm really warm to this style of beer recently. I've had a couple of really nice ones, which were like light in character and not malty and stuff, but just good beers. The Colonial Small Ale is a really good example of that one. It's one of my favourite beers, which is like of a lighter style, but the flavours are just good. So you don't have to knock yourself out with like a ton of malt and then all sorts of extra hops in there. If you've made a well-balanced beer, it's a well-balanced beer. It's good.
I agree. I agree that this is it's definitely balanced. It's refreshing. I guess there's one thing I've got to learn is that like whenever I have these type of beers, I'm like it feels to me like a watered down version of a big ass 9% beer, right? But yeah. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's obviously the focus is on the balance and the crispness, and I think what they've got, they've nailed this one, right? It's yes. Right there. It's easy drinking, and I think something for a 4.5% beer, you could knock out a couple of these and be happy and not be like, I want something else. So I see the value, certainly. Mm-hmm. Let's get across to the score. So based on what we talked about from what to expect from the style. That's that the color seems right. The bitterness 30 to 50. It's like judging it to style and that lower ABV. Yep. What do you think? What do you think for style and kind of and overall kind of beer compared to other pale ales you've tasted?
This one is coming up for like a 4.5 for me. Now remember, it's not a pale ale. They call it a pale. Right? Okay. Very subtle difference. So I would interpret that as being the pale would be like a lighter style beer than a pale ale.
Okay.
Yeah, but to me, this is more like a lager source for a beer. A lot of the Margaret River region lagers are really sherbety and bright tasting beers, and this is more of that style rather than being a pale ale as such. Okay. But I really like this one. I'm rating this one, and I like this sort of beer.
Well, it's almost like it reminds me of more of the crispness of a lager, right? With a little bit of that kind of tropical. It says here on the actual website here, what is it? 3 grams per liter for hop, which is being a home brewer, not much at all, right? So I think they've done well to get that kind of represented across in the beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the thing is as well, when you make a lighter style beer. The ingredients are then more important because the more of their individual flavour comes out. So it's really a lot of these craft ales, they just throw more hops in it and more malt into the thing until it tastes okay. But if you can't get your basics right, then stop throwing extra things in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw some of these beers at you at some point. we're gonna not see eye to eye, I think, at some point. But this is great. I'm keen on this is a beer that I drink again. If I seen this on tap, I'd have it and I'd have it happily, and I wouldn't have even looked at it before. Yeah. So for me, based on I guess style and maybe overall, this is 3.62 on Untapped, whatever that means. So I'd put it a little bit higher. I'd put it 3.8, 3.9. I think, which is a good score for me, being that I sort of style of beer that I typically drink. So let's leave it there. I think that's a great. This is my first beer of the night, so this is a fantastic one to get started. And let's jump across to the Garage Project. Okay, so the next beer we're going to be tasting is another beer from Garage Project. So I'm a big fan of these guys. These guys, again, we've done plenty of videos from beers from these guys before. Been around since 2011. 3 guys, 2 brothers, initially home brewers, kicked off kind of Garage Project by the 24 beers in 24 weeks type of thing. And one of my favorite breweries for sure. They, aside from doing like the style that I'm most fond of, they do a whole bunch of different stuff. Very experimental. Some hits, some misses, but everything from farmhouse ales to trying to push the boundaries generally with every style they try to do. So again, this is a brewery that I'm particularly fond of. And the beer we're going to be tasting, let's have a look at the beers that they do. So these are just the beers available in Australia. Brett fermented hazies, traditional kind of real resin, like West Coast, East Coast, chili beers, white chocolate beers, everything that you probably don't like. but we're going to get there, Simon, eventually. I hope so. At least, hopefully, you'll like one. You'll like something, I'm sure.
I definitely, I refuse to touch the white chocolate beer. I'm just telling you that now. It's just, I
tasted it, and it was a miss for me, But they do all sorts of different lagers and trying to kind of blend styles and so on. So hopefully we'll get there. But the beer, this is another style that again I'm really fond of. I like the basic New England IPAs. I like the more experimental IPAs. But what you should be expecting is that low bitterness, bursting with aroma, and that tropical kind of complexity. It comes in obviously a wide variety of different colors, sub styles within that. So the beer, without banging on too much about this style, let's get across to the beer. So this one here is Arrow Street. This is their first collaboration with Trillium, another really famous brewery. This is a rebrew of that initial kind of, I think they're up to version 9 or something like that at the moment. So what we should be expecting from here, East Coast, Kiwi Twist, Tropical Burst, Mosaic, Motueka, from a freestyle hop farm. So, Simon, what's your experience? What's your thoughts about the whole New England IPA style? What do you think?
Oh, well, I am a big fan of the New England IPA. I was a little bit skeptical at first why they're turning it cloudy sort of thing. But your NEIPAs, your East Coast IPAs, I'm really warming to them. Some of them have actually been, especially, as you know, I'm a big fan of the Margaret River beers. Some of the NEIPAs are just excellent. Some of the best that I've had. But I also have had some direct from America New England IPAs, and I've got to tell you, I prefer the actual brewed in America ones to the brewed in Australia ones.
Oh, interesting. But they're fighting words to a lot of Australian brewers. But okay, I know there is a big difference. I've had some absolute crackers initially from like the US, but like places like breweries like Mountain Culture and Range Brewing and Mr. Banks, for me, I've kind of come back the other way. So this hopefully this beer, for me anyway, this is a fantastic. I've tried this beer before, but maybe we can get onto some other of these breweries and maybe, if not change your mind, actually kind of get you to kind of compare the because there is a distinct difference between the two countries and their approach.
There is. So I do like the IPA, the IPAs, the West Coast and East Coast IPAs that come from the USA. It's not really a style that they make in the UK, by the way. It's that you get an India Pale Ale, you get an IPA, but it's a real ale type of a beer. Yeah. So it is definitely an American style. And the only other, I've only ever had American ones, and obviously I've had a lot more Australian ones because here we are.
So let's get this in a glass. I'm keen to get your impressions, being that I've tasted this beer. Let's pour the beer.
Oh, loads of aroma, more aroma than the Beerfarm one that we've just had.
Yeah, that's the first time I tried this, as soon as I started pouring it, I got the aroma straight away.
Yeah. Oh, tropical fruit. And really cloudy sparkle to it. I'm already liking this one more than the Yeah, more than that other one that we tried a couple of weeks ago. I'm definitely preferring this one to that one just from the aroma that came to me right then.
So, I mean, the look of that for me is fantastic. That aroma kind of pops off.
Yeah.
When I think of like traditional New England IPA, I think of Citra, Mosaic, El Dorado, like a combination of those. This has got Mosaic, obviously, and that Motueka in there as well. So let's get on the nose and let's try to pick out some of these aromas.
Oh, pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple's there, isn't it?
Pineapple. I've got to tell you as well, the nicest one of this style of beers I've had recently from this part of the world, sort of, was a New Zealand one.
Yeah,
Deep Creek Sensei.
Okay, yeah, right. I mean, these guys are based in New Zealand, obviously. They've got. I don't think they just use New Zealand hops. Well, no, they don't. But some of the best beers I've had from these guys and like Behemoth Brewing, Chur, and stuff like that have that kind of those New Zealand hops. I imagine because it's pretty fresh. Let's get someone taste. I'm salivating. Cheers. I had this early on when I drank this. This kind of kicked off my my love for this style for body and stuff like that. What do you get? What do you think?
Right, I'm getting less body in this one than some of them that I've had. I've got to tell you, I'm so far this particular brand of beer I haven't liked. I wouldn't, if I've got a choice of this one and another brand, I'm likely to choose another brand. I'm just it's doing not much for me, I've got to tell you.
Okay, so aside from the body, do you get any alcohol in there, or anything like that, like tropical kind of complexity?
Oh, it's got the aromas. Like I say, it's got the pineapple that jumped out as soon as I opened the thing. It's also have they mixed something else into this as well, like a little bit of chili. I had recently the same style of beer from Eagle Bay, and that was on draft at the Albion Hotel in Cottesloe. And it tasted like it had this extra little kick to it, like a hint of chili or something or other. So this is actually very similar to the Eagle Bay hazy IPA that I had about 2 months ago on draft at the Albion in, like say, Stirling Highway, Cottesloe.
Okay. I still get the kind of the pineapple through the taste. Kind of like hints of like the usual suspects when it comes to that. I don't get anything kind of unusual about it. Like I think from this version here, I get a tiny bit of that kind of that alcohol kind of present in the back. I don't think this has got any lactose or anything like that in there, but
no. To be honest, it's thick and it's got a little bit of maltiness, but it's not overpowering malt.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not an unpleasant beer by any means whatsoever. It's a nice beer, but I think it's a little bit overdone, to the point where that Eagle Bay one that I tried a couple of months ago was just so similar to this. I think they must have used the same recipe when they made the thing, and I could only drink one pint of that one and then go on to something else. And I think this is this one. I could drink one can of this and then it'd be moved on to something different.
Really? Seriously, I could have one can of this and another can of something similar. I guess it's I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic as we continue to do these videos and because it's like, I understand, like, I guess from your perspective, I would imagine you're going for that balance, right? You want that kind of, if it's a little bit more of this, you want a little bit more of that to kind of counteract it. Whereas I guess from my journey, especially in this hazy world, I'm kind of I'm working the other way backwards, like I like the extreme. I like the almost like the overdone, and then I'm kind of working backwards from that. So this is cool. Let's get across to a score. Oh, yep. Go ahead.
It's a 3.5, so it's not a bad it's not a bad beer. I would drink again, definitely, but it wouldn't be a first choice of this style.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So 3.5. So again, I think I scored this last time, 4.1, 4.2. I think this version, I don't think it's identical to the first one, but I still like it. Still like the style. I'm going to go in for 4.1 for me. So yeah, let's wrap it up there. Hopefully this beer review is a little shorter, hopefully a little sharper. We're going to continue to do these videos. I think we're going to take that approach of doing one kind of more kind of balanced kind of core range and one hopefully maybe not as far down the other kind of the other end as what it is. I appreciate you joining, Simon. I know you've got to jump off to a Liverpool game, so I appreciate you sparing some time. And I thought you might be. I appreciate your time, man. And let's do it again. And everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out Beer Australia reviews. And if you're hanging around to here, thank you for the support. Suggestions always welcome. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.
Cheers, Adam. Thank you again to Darren from Brew Taste Style. Thanks for watching.